Morning. Hello. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, I've already kind of started doing what I want to do here. I'm going to be re-sleeving everything, but how was everybody's weekend? Hope it was well. Mine was pretty fun. Ended up going to Collecticon, and then yesterday was not as much fun. Yesterday was a lot of working around in the house, but pretty much just gonna talk about Collecticon today and go over like some of the highlights of like the entire experience, and then also what wasn't as cool, and like how I'm gonna be prepared next time going in. So pretty much we got a lot of stuff. I don't know why I started putting these together. I want to keep separated with the ones that have tags and which ones don't. We got a lot of stuff from Collecticon. These are all like the foreign language cards that I got. I was making sure my ferrets are okay. So we got a lot of foreign language stuff, which should have been cheaper than what I actually paid for on this stuff. This Charizard was free, and so was... Where's the Mew? So was the Mew. Shoutouts to my cousin. 2 shiny card or shiny Pokemon that he had extras, and he just passed over to me. So appreciate that. Big thanks. So those were the foreign ones we had, and then I have like a miscellaneous pile. It's a bunch of different shinies from different sets and whatnot. Some of them throughout the Sun and Moon era, some of them from Pokemon Go. It's just a bunch of different sets in this pile. And then, and actually, let me go ahead and I'll zoom in after. That way you guys can see the cards more. Usually I do this, like the pulled out more for when we're like putting cards in the binder, because the binder's so big. These ones are all the Paldean Fates that we got. We got a lot of Paldean Fates. A lot of shinies from Paldean Fates. Or Paldean? Paldean? No, I think it's Paldean. I think it's P-A-L-D-E-A-N. So Paldean. And then this is the whole pile that we got from Shining Fates. Or Shining Fates, right? So I don't think we got anything from Hidden Fates. Unless this is Hidden Fates. No, I don't know. I think this is Shiny Fates, and then it's like the vault, right? I'm not sure. Either way, what I do know is that I want to re-sleeve all of these, put them in my inners, especially because some of these have like the price tags on them. So overall, the Collecticon experience was super fun. I went with originally it was going to be my dad, and then my dad reminded me that like my cousin does some collecting, and so we invited him, and then he invited his mom and another, like his brother. Unfortunately, his brother couldn't make it. So it was just the 4 of us. It was a lot of fun though. I definitely want to make it out to another big event like that, and potentially smaller shows if they're around, just to collect more stuff that I need. But yeah, so the first thing we ended up doing was, some of these are already in inner sleeves, but I want to make sure they're in like clean ones. They don't look too dirty though. They look pretty clean. So the first thing we did was we went to submit. See, and this is what I mean. This one, I didn't pay. Oh, I forgot that I was going to zoom in. I didn't pay 12 bucks on this one. But originally the price on this thing was $12. So because I bought so much from this guy, he put all the babies at 2 and all the bigs at 5. But even then, I way overpaid. Now I keep jumping around. I can't stick to like one part of the story. Let me get the spiel out about this because I'm working with it. My brain is just gonna want to like focus on it. So, one of the first places we went to where I did like a pretty big purchase was this stall that had a lot of foreign stuff, a lot of like a foreign binder full of shinies. And so I was like, part of me wanted to wait, but part of me also knew that the foreign stuff was cheaper. Typically on like the online market, the foreign cards go for like half the price of English cards. And that's just because like more people want to collect master sets of the English versions, at least in America, right? So when I saw the prices of these cards, I thought, okay, if this is what the Japanese versions are going for, or the foreign language, because there is, I think, some Chinese in here, or Korean. No, I think it's just, I think it was just Chinese, Japanese and Chinese. But oh my gosh, I can't keep my brain thoughts straight. Right, so I was like, okay, if these are the prices of the foreign cards, I might as well just buy these now because everything else is going to be super expensive. I did say I'd come back around for more because there was only I think there was only some that I was gonna buy, or maybe I wasn't even gonna buy that much, but we were there and I was convinced to go ahead and just buy the ones that I needed. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. Ended up not being that great of a decision because, yo, Pink, thank you so much for the sub. Rah, I'm alive, just busy. Have a good stream and hope you're well. Thank you so much. Thank you. I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. I hope you've been well. So it ended up being a bad decision because a majority of the money that I overpaid about 40 bucks in total. I went ahead and priced out everything that I bought the other night. And yeah, it turns out I ended up overpaying about $40-ish. And that's even after I haggled some of the prices down. There was another area where I did a huge buy. It was about 160-ish. And I asked if he could do 140. He said yes, which immediately I was like, fuck, I should have said even lower. But I mean, I still got 20 bucks off. But yeah, so even after that, I ended up overpaying in total, just like around everywhere that I bought. I ended up overpaying about 40 bucks for everything. And the kind of like justification for it is like, if I would have bought a lot of these cards online, it probably would have been the difference of all the shipping from all the different vendors I would have bought from anyways. So not too upset about it. Plus, I just think about the experience that I had there, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, I think that's pretty much a big part of why like I was like there's like not so cool part was just finding out that I overpaid on stuff. But that just leads me to, you know, be a little bit more educated on what I'm buying and to like be a little bit more prepared than I already was this time. So let's go ahead and go back to the beginning and talk about, you know, the experience from start to finish. So the very first thing that we did, my dad and I got there, we ended up going to, you know, get into line or whatever, get down the escalators, and it was crazy because there was just like one huge line and we didn't really know where it started. But we kind of just like jumped in at a random part towards the end of what was inside. And I noticed that like the people we actually walked in front of were people that were behind us anyways, like on the way into the venue. So I was like, okay, we should be fine here because like technically the people behind us were behind us. And if we're going to get in trouble, then they're going to get in trouble. But yeah, so we end up walking, you know, the line, whatever. And we get stopped and I'm like, oh, in my head, I'm like, we're going to get pulled off to the side. We're in trouble. But the guy didn't say anything. He just like stopped the line and then looked around for a little bit. I was really confused. And then he told us to follow him. So we're like, okay. And only like a little bit of the line was following, and then he noticed, and then he got the rest of the line over, or like to move with us. But essentially what they were creating were two lines to get in to check-in, and he pretty much led us right up to the VIP check-in, and they didn't really care. They were just trying to get as many people checked in. They were like, any computer will scan you, so it's fine, even if it's not the VIP. Like, even if you're not VIP, which was really awesome. So we ended up getting right into the event, like, super quick because of that. Like I said, he pretty much walked us right to the front of the VIP check-in. I was like, holy nice. We didn't even have to wait. So we got in. And immediately we went to what we thought was the PSA drop-off, because my dad had brought some cards to get graded. I ended up submitting one card just because I was like, man, it's so cool, all the stuff that my dad's sending in. I'm like, you know what? Even if my card doesn't grade that well, it'd still be cool to just like have that experience of like getting something graded, see what my dad pulls, see what I pull. So I ended up sending one card as well with his lot. And so what ended up happening was, it's not a PSA like drop off event. It is a PSA dealer. It's a PSA dealer who is an authorized PSA dealer. So they pretty much take in submissions and they will process it. They'll send it out. But because they're authorized, they're able to, and probably because they're closer to the PSA like building, they're able to get a lot of things graded sooner. Unfortunately, there were some things that they weren't able to match the price that what we originally paid for. So we are gonna have to send some stuff out at a later date, which is fine. I think we got a lot of the cool cards sent in, so I'm really excited to see what my dad gets back in. I told him, because like the thing was, like, the insurance was kind of weird because their insurance is a little bit lower, I believe, than what, or actually no, it wasn't that it was lower. It was just that instead of us automatically getting charged, like PSA would automatically charge you for insurance, depending on like the cost of the card. You pay for your insurance, but then you would like find out the grading of the cards, and if you wanted to, you can insure it for more. So, unfortunately, that means that my dad wants to get all his cards back. Insured for what they're worth is that he'll probably have to take a sneak peek and potentially end up getting spoilers for what he has graded coming in. Dad, if you're watching this, I will say, if you pretty much just count the amount of 10s you got, and then whatever 10s you got, add like, I would say then add the like double amount of whatever the insurance was. I'll probably tell you this in person too. But I mean, that way you kind of don't get it spoiled, because if you're looking at just the grades and not the cards that graded it, we already know that all of them are going to be roughly, you know, a certain ballpark. So if they're a certain ballpark, then you really just have to double the insurance for those cards, those amount of cards. So if it was like 10 out of the 21, then you would only increase it by, you know, that many cards. Because I think what we insured it for was if everything was a 9 for those cards. We didn't end up getting the evolution, or the, not evolutions, the reverse hollow legendary collection Charizard wasn't one of the cards that ended up getting sent in, only because they couldn't match the price of it, of what we were sending it in at. And I, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's because we did the April savings. I'm wondering if that's why they couldn't match it, because we already had like a savings because of the membership. That's probably it. But yeah, so that's the first thing that we did. And then just seeing the amount of people entering the venue, we pretty much decided it would have been like a lot smarter to, especially because there was just so much, man. There was so much there. But we pretty much decided it'd probably just be smarter to head to the back, and then from the back move forward. And that's what we ended up doing, and I think it really was the better call. Because later on in the event, once my dad and I got kind of towards the front, there were definitely a lot of cases that were like blown through. Like you could tell, like a lot of the inventory for certain vendors just like got ransacked by like all the people first entering. Rinny! Hi, Rinny. Pokimane. Yeah, Pokimane. We're re-sleeving everything we bought. Got a lot of really cool cards. And then we'll be throwing these into my National Dex binder. So overall, out of the like Pokemon with shiny, there's shiny versions in the TCG, we only need like 170 more. We got like more than half, I think, or roughly half. No, I think it was definitely more than half of the shinies we pretty much bought at this event. So, are you completing Paldean Fates? No, so what I'm doing, here, let me show you. Let me show you the massive binder. Oh God, this thing's so big. So pretty much, I'm doing a National Dex collection. So I want to get one of each Pokemon. To complete my National Dex right now, I don't care for the set. I don't care for the rarity. I just want to have a National Dex binder completed in TCG form. Let me zoom back out. So this is the big ass binder that I bought, and it fits 1,028 cards. So I have, you know, I'm trying literally just have a National Dex. So one of each binder. I have these placeholder cards for Pokemon that I'm missing still. But I started with my childhood collection that my dad dug out for me. And so a lot of the early stuff is going to be like base, fossil, jungle. And then it's going to be kind of mixed because some of these cards are going to get replaced with like I said, the shiny Pokemon. So some of these placeholder cards have like a star. That means that Pokemon has a shiny like their alt color. And then I have like a digital list too that I have to check mark which Pokemon also have shinies that way. Because I mean, at this point, with like this page is completely filled in. I'm not gonna know that these Pokemon have a shiny unless I have some other way of it telling me. So like this Electrode from Jungle is gonna get replaced because I managed to get a shiny Electrode. But yeah, so this is my first collection that I'm working on that I would like to try to complete. So the first pass through on this collection is just getting one of every Pokemon. And then after I've done that, my secondary goal will be to replace everything with, if it has a shiny version, I want to replace it with a shiny version. And then after that, I'll probably be replacing these cards with any art that I think is cool if it doesn't have a shiny version. So like, if it has a... Wait, does Swinub have a shiny? Oh, dang it. I have an actual Swinub in here, so I can't tell. But maybe Smeargle? Does Smeargle have like an illustrated rare? Either way, for example, if Donphan, Smeargle, Kingdra, if they have like an illustrated rare, then once my dex is complete, I'll probably go back and start buying like really cool arts for Pokemon that don't have shiny versions and start doing that. So this is going to be like my master collection of just like all the cool things that I think are cool for that specific Pokemon. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing for this collection. It's going to be a massive one and there's a lot to collect. But I'm super excited to get this, filled in with everything that we bought. We bought a lot of cards, and before Collecticon happened, I had my national dex had 400 Pokemon. After Collecticon happened, and I bought all of my shiny Pokemon, my Pokedex is only remaining 493 Pokemon, which means how much? There's 1025 minus 493. So I now have 532 Pokemon filled in. I just actually have to put them into the binder. It's funny though, because you can see a chunk of cards I'm missing, right? I'm missing a lot of 4th gen because that was the collection that I had given away. And then I got back at the start of 5th gen with my wife. We got back into the game. But yeah. And then there's a good chunk of 7th gen, 6th gen. Yeah, 6th gen, 7th gen missing. But that's only because I haven't sorted through my bulk yet. So I'll be sorting through the bulk and we'll be filling it in as we go. But the first editions that we're going to do is all the new shinies that I bought because they're awesome. But yeah, and then these are, everything back here is still missing because we haven't gotten to that part. But yeah, so that's my National Dex collection. That's what I'm working on. Pokemon is taking over my life again. Dude, I love how many... I know there's people that obviously have had interest in Pokemon, like cards and whatnot. But it is cool seeing a lot of VTubers, and maybe it's just my algorithm finally feeding me things that I want to see. But I think it's really cool that a lot of VTubers are entering like the Pokemon TCG space in terms of just collecting cool cardboard, which is really sick. And then the other collection is this one's kind of big. the other collection that I'm gonna be working on is the artist Yuka Mori. So my cousin has I can't remember the name of the artist right now. There's a specific artist that he's collecting, and like that was kind of in the back of my mind as I was going through my bulk, and I realized that I had a lot of Yuka Mori art. Yuka Mori being the person that does like these clay models. And so I noticed that I had a decent amount, and so I asked my dad if I could go through his bulk and pick out anything that I'm missing. And so I ended up getting like maybe 5 or 6 more cards from him, which is awesome. Some of them are a little bit on the more expensive side, especially the reverse hollows. And then this Light Azumarill we ended up finding through some of the bulk already too, like the bulk from my brother-in-law, which is really cool to find that one, because that one I think is also a little bit on the pricier side, not like crazy pricey, but yeah, it was really cool to get this collection started. And even though I don't have like the newer stuff, at least this is a really good starting point at getting it. There was one card I was thinking about buying while I was there. It was the Snivy Venusaur team up card, and I saw it at a pretty decent price. I think the lowest one I saw was at like $35, but that's not the intent, like the reason why I went there. My intention on going to Collecticon was to get more cards for the national decks, and specifically shiny Pokemon. So I think I did well in getting the cards that I wanted. But yeah, so maybe I should have just picked up that Venusaur Snivy. To say the holofoil, which they're all holofoil, near mint market is 46. Oh, you know what? Maybe it was LP. That's why it was at 35. Because I'm seeing LP here. All 4 listings of LP are at that like $35 mark. Maybe it was LP. I still would have been fine buying it though. It still would have been like a good price. But yeah, so what pretty much happened after the PSA thing, we went to the back and we pretty much started tackling stalls, boots, tables, whatever you want to call them, from the back to the front. And again, I think that was just best that we did it that way, because towards like the middle of the event, or like last few hours, the front areas were just so like picked through. So we found some spots. I think, like I said, the main place I overspent on was buying the foreign cards, but at least that showed me, okay, I need to be a little bit more prepared. And the only reason I feel like I wasn't as prepared as I should have been was because I knew what I was going for, which again, shiny Pokemon. This is probably the most expensive one that I got, was this Shining Magikarp from Celebrations, which was 20 bucks. I think market is 21, so I saved a little bit. Nothing crazy. But I think that was the most expensive thing that I bought. And then yeah, we just continued going through different tables. A lot of the people were really cool. There was like some new TCGs that people were trying to promote. I have a couple packs of the one that talked to us. It was like a dinosaur TCG, and while they were showing us, they were doing pack openings, and they ended up pulling like one of their rare rarities. I think they said there was only like 25 of them, maybe like for each card, or each card that's at that rarity, there's only like 25 of them. They ended up pulling one at the event, which was kind of sick while we were there. They were super hyped. We didn't end up going back to try out the game though. Kind of wish we did, but there was just so much cardboard buying that we had to do, or could be doing. So, but yeah, I mean, it was a lot of the same thing, you know, going through table by table, talking to the vendors, talking to the, like, checking out all the cardboard, but it was just so much fun. I think the most fun part was having my binder and doing trades. And like, there were some where like talk them down on their price, or, you know, they valued it, you know, a little bit lower or a little bit higher, which was cool when they valued it higher. Some of the people ended up saying no, like, I'll hold on to the card that I want to, like, just because they were like lowballing on certain cards. The only trade that I did that I felt like kind of bad on was it was a Bulbasaur from Expedition, the one where he's like praising the sun. And I had it valued at 13 originally when I did my pricing. Market on that card went up to 14, and then the most recent sales that I saw on it were 25. There was 2 sales at 25, and I'm not sure exactly why, but everything else was sitting around the 14 mark, and I kind of felt bad, but at the same time, it got me my Lucario shiny, so I was like, you know what, it's fine. It's not terrible. But yeah, I don't know. It was a lot of fun. My cousin, he ended up finding some things that he needed as well for his artist collection. He was also trying to collect a first edition base set, I believe. Ended up finding some of those. So, yeah, it was, man, I wish, one thing I wish I would have done, but it was just so in the moment, was I wish I would have gotten footage of the event. Like, just grab my camera out and record it. There was a lot of people that were live streaming the event, recording the event, a lot of vendor POVs being recorded and stuff like that. So far, there's only one Collecticon video that I saw where you can kind of see me in the background. I was like, oh, I was on TV! But I would definitely, and I do definitely plan on going back to the Chicago Collecticon in October, I think it is. It really just depends on how much work the baby is. But my wife already said that she's fine with it as long as we're not exhausted, or if her mom or my mom are down to like come over and help out. So huge shout outs to the wonderful wife. Wow, did they double sleeve this? Am I crazy? Was that 2 sleeves? I'm so confused. Maybe I'm just going so fast at resleeving that my brain is just breaking. Trying to think of any other like big highlights of like the vending situation. It was crazy to see like, you know, cards that were in the thousands. Like, I know that those cards exist, but just seeing them in person was just something different. It was just like, wow, these things do go for that much, and there are people buying them. That's wild. That's wild. But, you know, they're in positions to be able to, you know, buy those kind of cards. And I mean, they might also be flipping them too, so some of them maybe just getting them for their collections and whatnot. So far, and I think it's just because of the type of collection I'm doing. So far, like, grading so far for collecting purposes hasn't been too enticing to me. There was a really cool set that, like, if I had the money to, I would buy it and just have it in the slabs. And that was the, was it Unagaba? Yeah, Unagaba. The Unagaba evolution set. There was a sequential one there, which was really sick. I don't know if that sequential one was all 10s though. But that would be a really cool one to have slabbed up. Sequential 10s of the Unagaba would be insane. But I mean, even just having that collection slabbed up on a shelf would be cool. But, and again, maybe it's just because I'm just doing a massive collection. That's why. Maybe getting like a Umbreon star at a 10, like getting all my favorite Pokemon in their shiny colorations. Getting them graded at 10s would be kind of cool. But yeah, it was pretty much just a lot of like shiny cardboard. It was really cool seeing all of the different illustration rares and just like all the fancy versions of the Pokemon cards that exist now. I think kids getting into Pokemon collection now have it, I guess it's a double-bladed sword, two-edged sword. I can't remember the saying, man. But they have some of the coolest stuff to collect nowadays in terms of like the art. But they also have to deal with resellers. So that means that it's harder for them to buy and find sealed product. Unless their parents are cool with paying inflated prices, or if their parents are able to get to restocks first. But yeah, I think Pokemon collectors nowadays have so much more cool stuff to collect. But that being said, I do think that it's still pretty cool having vintage stuff now, because it's so much rarer and harder to get, so having it is pretty sick. Big shout outs to my dad for having second completed sets and passing those over to me. Super appreciate that. That being said, one of the things that my dad did too was complete the double sets. But I think he was confused because like I think he thought that he needed to complete his sets, which wasn't the case. Like his sets were complete. We just needed to complete the double sets. So I completed the double sets, and then when we got home from the event, we put them in the binder, and then he passed it over to me. So there is one incomplete set that I have from the WotC era now, and that's Expedition. So for now, that set will probably it will probably remain incomplete for a while, but it will be cool to somewhere down the road start collecting that set in the state that it's in. There's gonna be some pricey cards like the holographic Charizard, but I think it'll still be a cool project to kind of tackle when I'm ready to tackle that kind of project. But yeah, the next thing I'm gonna do with those vintage binders is re-sleeve a lot of them, because the binders that they're in, the pages they were in with the penny sleeves might have been a little bit too big, pages might have been a little bit too small, but the sleeves have like wrinklies in them now, so I wanna change them all out with these inners, just because I like the tighter fit on the card. It almost makes it look sleeveless, and I know that they probably won't end up wrinkled because there's nothing putting pressure on them since they're like a tighter fit. I'm trying to think of like some of the other cool stuff that we saw while we were there. There's a lot of really cool. Oh, this one was my favorite one, the shiny Ditto. There is a shiny Ditto with a cuter art than this, but this one was a lot cheaper than that one. That one was like 20. This one was only like 3. So I'm just happy I got a shiny Ditto. My favorite Mon, favorite card. Okay. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool clothes. There was somebody who did 3D printed Pokeballs that were inspired off of like Pokemon. So those were really sick. A Waka Flocka Flame performed during the con. I was gonna say during the concert, obviously during the concert, but during the con, which is wild. Like, I knew he was into cards and stuff, but it was just crazy seeing him there. It was really cool. The only content creators that I saw there that I recognized were Bulbasaur, that vendor, Goated Pulls, and Pack Battles, I think is the channel. I saw those 3 there. I was trying to find Randall, I believe is his name, but he does he's a co-owner of Ace, that grading company. Really cool slabs, because the top part of the slab is like, or at least the ones that I seen, were kind of like extensions of the backgrounds of the Pokemon card. So it was cool to see like slabs where it's just an extension of the art. But I don't know if he ended up going or not, but I don't recall seeing him. And then I completely forgot, because again, I was just so consumed in shiny cardboard. But there was voice actors there. The voice actor or not the voice actor, but I think it was the actor for Darth Maul was there. The voice actor for Luffy, the OG Ash Ketchum voice was there. Voice actor was there. I'm like in my head afterwards, or after like when I was watching some Collecticon videos, I'm like, what the hell? I completely forgot. So that kind of stinks. Could have got some stuff maybe autographed. I don't think so though. I think autographs are kind of pricey depending on who you wanted to talk to, but still would have been cool to see him. I was like, I can't believe that I forgot to go check them out. But yeah. Tinkaton. What time is it? I have to remember, I still have work to go to today. I can't just be re-sleeving Pokemon cards all day. Although I wish I could. I wish I could just make Pokemon cards my job. Are you kidding me? That's the dream. I don't know. That's the other thing though. I was like, part of me was like, maybe maybe my dad and I could go into business as Pokemon vendors. With the amount of inventory he has, it's insane. But dude, it's kind of crazy. Like being a vendor, at least seeing it in person seems crazy. I give them way more like respect than I already had for them, because like you just have to be on your toes all the time with the amount of people coming up to you or coming up to look at your stuff. You definitely need a second person, and events like these, I feel like you definitely need like 3 people to be watching everything, because I guess it just depends on how big of a space you have. But man, it was insane. Just like the amount of knowledge you have to know if you're going to be accepting trades, the amount of patience that you have to have if someone's pricing things up on their end. You know, you have to be able to price your stuff on your end. You have to be on your toes in case like the internet goes out, which like a lot of the vendors there were complaining that the internet sucked, which was funny because at the start of the event my internet was fine, but towards like the mid to the end my stuff was getting a lot slower and a lot worse, and I'm like, dang. So yeah, big respect to the vendors. It's something that I considered maybe looking into, but yeah, after today, man, maybe just online store space is probably just the better way to go. But I mean, the other thing is, and I kind of talked about it with my dad on the drive home, is like, if you want to get into vending, you probably, obviously, you don't start off at a Collecticon. You start off at like these smaller shows that you can get to like within your area, and you start there. Start with a small table, right? One table. Just smaller areas, not as populated, whatnot. It's definitely the way to go, man. In terms of the buying and trading experience, though, it was pretty cool. We're just like talking prices down, trading, valuing Pokemon and whatnot. It was really interesting and really fun. But what I'd probably do next time, now, especially now that I have way more time to prepare, is I would probably... Oh, and I saw some cool tech, which I'm probably going to steal. Which somebody at a vending did, like, color-coded sleeves. So anything in, like, a blue sleeve was like $2. Anything in a red sleeve was like $3. Green sleeve was like $5 or something like that. I can't remember the exact prices, but it was like roughly that kind of ideology. And I'm like, oh, that's actually a really sick way of doing it, because then you can kind of plug and play just your binder in whatever. You don't have to have it organized specifically, because based on the color of the sleeve, it'll tell somebody right there, this is what you're valuing it at and how much it's going to cost. So that was really cool. So I might steal that tech for my trade binder. And also, speaking of trade binders, definitely going to have to set my dad's trade binder up, because he's got a lot of bulk. And he even mentioned how like it was pretty cool seeing like how much you could get just by trading your cards. So the big thing though is like you have to understand that most people will go for most people I went for 80%. There was only, I think, one person that I asked that did 75%. But the person who did 75%, the reason why I said yes to their trade was because they actually valued my cards higher, and it kind of offset the difference of what I valued it at and the percentage that I wanted. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know what? It pretty much is the same thing. Hi, fan. Oh, this was the coolest line that I think I picked up next to Lucario Riolu. the Luxray line. I was able to get the whole Luxray line shiny, which is cool. All the shiny. Yup. We only have 170 more shinies in total to go for the National Dex Binder. Some of them are going to be hella expensive. I saw a lot of like Espeons, Espeon, Umbreon, Glaceon, Leafeon, but they're just way out of my price range right now. And like, I think the cheapest shiny Umbreon that I saw was the Umbreon Star Celebrations version though, which was... Everybody was selling it for 40 there, but I swore it was cheaper than that online. I'd have to... That's Bale! Can I see it up close? Which one? All three or just the Shinx? Whoa. Shiny cardboard. Bale is Shinx. Ugh. I can't put it up too close because then the lights don't get it anymore. Wow. Super cute, yeah. Oh, did I already sleeve up? No, I think it's in this pile. Wait, no, it's not. Where is it? Is it this one? One of the favorite pickups that was this Charmander. Ugh. This Charmander is so happy. That was probably one of my favorite pickups from the event. Yeah, it's gonna be insane. Yeah, we'll probably do the putting these cards in the binder tomorrow's stream. Speaking of, okay, I got 4 minutes to wrap this up, and then I gotta go brush my teeth for work. I don't want to have coffee breath. Don't want coffee breath for work. But yeah, we did a lot. We did a lot. But I'm definitely, now that I have a lot more time to prepare for the next big convention, I'm gonna be pricing out all of these shiny Pokemon that I need, which is roughly, I think it was like 170-ish. So I'll be pricing them all out properly. Because what I did for my trade binder was I priced it all out, and then kept the TCG player link, so that way I could check it again while I was at the event. So I'll probably do that just over time, is just price it all out, add the link, and then the day or two before the event, I'll probably reprice it all out just to get them like more up-to-date prices. And then be super prepared and make sure that I don't overpay this time. Losing $40 in total isn't the end of the world to me, especially just, again, because the experience I had there, the learning experience. But again, it's probably going to be the difference of what I would have paid in shipping anyways, because I got so many cards. And I mean, that's the other thing, is I got so many cards. So many cards. Roughly like 200 cards. So, I mean, I'm not too bummed out about it. My friend prices it a day or two before. Yeah. It's just, I know with this collection, it was just really hard to price it all out, unfortunately. It marks it on the back of the sleeve so you don't have to open docs and things. Yeah, what I'm probably going to do is... Oh, for the trade binder? Yeah, I could probably do that, too. I probably will buy, like, stickers like these. It's just... On such short notice, I didn't have time to do that for my trade binder. But that, I definitely will probably be doing. Is getting stickers and just writing out the price or whatnot. Because, yeah, not having to go for, like, a Google Sheet stock would be kind of all right. I pretty much just had... Here, I'll show you the remainder of my trade binder. A lot of my stuff got picked up. But so these front pages I had priced out on an Excel app or Google Sheets, and I had the TCG player link next to it just to check updated price, but I had what I valued it at sitting there. And then anything else I had like just this there, so I valued those at roughly 6, these at roughly 5, so on and so forth. So that's kind of what I did for my trade binder. But now that I have more time to prepare, I'm definitely gonna do like stickers to price out my trade binder. And then also help out my dad build up a trade binder. I just send my cards to the homies. That's fair, that's fair. Yeah, I want to see if my cousin, because my cousin, I guess, collects modern stuff. So I want to see what extras he has. Oh, I didn't even get to do it today, but this is the binder my dad completed. This Houndoom was a card that he picked up. And then the Neo Destinies he picked up. Where is it? Is it here? Huh? Did I miss it? Yeah, I missed it. The Shining Noctowl is the other pickup he had. So that pretty much completed the 2 sets, and then he ended up giving me the binder, which is super awesome. So I can't wait to re-sleeve this stuff and then put it in a new binder. I want to put all of the vintage completed sets into one binder. Or actually not vintage completed, but vintage, because this one's not complete. But I want to put all the vintage sets into one binder and then just have that. But oh no, ads! We back. Sorry. They keep the funds so they can get me OP cards. That's fair. That's super fair. But yeah, so super awesome. Super appreciate it. But yeah, these cards are insane. Some of these cards I'm gonna have to buy again. So like the Shining Tyranitar. I think this is the only Tyranitar that... The only shiny Tyranitar card that exists. It's like a $300 card. So if I want a shiny Tyranitar on my other binder, I'm gonna have to pay that. That's insane prices. Thankfully, there's like the Radiant Charizard, so I don't have to buy a Shining Charizard at $2,000. But huge shout out to my dad for completing these sets and passing them over to me. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. Fortunately, that's all I had time for, was to re-sleeve everything. I'll see if my friend wants these sleeves, but they all have stickers on them, so I don't think he's gonna be about it. So I don't want them. They're kind of garbage. There's nothing I could do with these. I guess I could reuse them, right? If there's a card that I price at the same value, I could just use it. You know, maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll put them off to the side here. But okay, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow morning, hopefully on time this time. It's just last night I just kept waking up. I didn't really get good rest, so didn't end up waking up on time. So hopefully tomorrow I wake up on time and we can actually get all those shinies into the National Dex binder. It's gonna be sick filling that up. Got like 130 new Pokemon, so that means we got like roughly 60 to 70-ish replacement cards. So there's gonna be probably an okay amount that we get to restock into our trade binder too. So that'll be cool. But chill vibes to listen to at gym. Thank you, that's sick. Well, have fun at the gym. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next time. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your days or nights, whatever it is for y'all. Fan, we'll have to get some TCG Pokemon gameplay through. Once Rem helps you out with your deck. I want to play with Rem too. I think me and Matt are gonna be playing soon. He's got like a couple, or he ordered some cards. I'm just waiting on 2 Dragapults still, man. But okay. All right, I'm gonna head out. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will catch you guys in the next one. All right, bye. See you later. Message on Discord. Cool. Okay, goodbye.